So the first thing that we're going to do is open up Adobe Illustrator. And if my Illustrator opening screen looks different than yours, that's because I've customized it so that when I open up, it actually just shows a workspace here instead of showing like a create new document space. But that's okay because we're going to be on the same page. All we need to do is go to File, New, and we're going to create 3 artboards, 1,000 by 1,000 pixels each. So we're going to go to width and height here and put in 1,000 by 1,000. And then we're going to go over to the Artboards tab here and click it up to 3. And the last thing that we need to do is go to More Settings. We need to make sure that the spacing between each artboard is 100 pixels so that we have enough space to just keep everything looking good. And then we want to make sure that we have 3 columns so they all line up side by side. We're just going to name this. And we can hit Create Document now. All right, so now we have 3 artboards lined up side by side. And what we're going to do first is go to the Layers panel here. And actually, I should mention too, if your workspace looks different than mine, just go up to Essentials and then reset Essentials here. And then that will get you back to where you need to be. So what we're going to do first is go to Layers, and we're going to name this first layer Guides. I want to set up Guides first. And we're just going to double click on this square here and make it medium blue. I keep all my like basic default layers medium blue. It's just a preference thing. All right, now to bring up guides, we're going to do Command R, and we're just going to drag the first one out here and drop it anywhere. Now what we need is the Align panel, so we're going to go to Window and then Align, and it's going to open up the bottom here, so we're just going to drag it out. All we need from this panel is the Align panel, so we'll drag that panel out and then close out the other panels. All right, now we can dock this Align panel right here on the side at the bottom. And we're just going to go to Menu Options, Show Options. All right, in order to align our guide, what we need to do is just make sure that first our guides are unlocked. So we're going to go up to View and then Guides. And it looks like they are locked because we have the option to unlock them. So we're just going to tap Unlock. And as you saw up here, the keyboard shortcut, which I use all the time, is Option, Command, semicolon. All right, so with our guides unlocked, we're going to tap once on our artboard so that Illustrator knows that's the document that we're working with first. Then we're going to tap the guide itself and then go over to the Align panel. Make sure it's set to Align to Artboard. And then we can select Horizontal Align Center. Perfect. And now I'm just going to click on this guide and hold down Option and drag. And it's going to give us a copy over here. And then we're going to tap once on this artboard, tap again on the guideline, and then Horizontal Align Center. Do this one more time, Option drag, drop it anywhere, tap once on the artboard, and then once on the guide, and Horizontal Align Center. All right, so now we just need to create 2 more guidelines so that we know the spacing for each of our shapes, and we're just going to drag a guideline down from the top, drag it to roughly the 200 marker over here, and we're going to hold Shift to constrain it so that it pops into the 200 pixel y-axis. That looks pretty good, but I'm going to double check it. I'm going to go to the Properties panel. The Properties panel is where you can check all of your dimensions and sizing and fill and stroke and all these different things, but we're just going to look at the y-axis right now, and we can see that that guideline is perfectly at 200 pixels. So what we'll do is drag one more guideline out, hold Shift, and then try to get it around the 800 marker here. And as you can see on the y-axis, that's where it landed, at 800 pixels. So what we can do now is just lock our guidelines, and remember the keyboard shortcut is Option, Command, semicolon. And now if we try to move any of these guides, we can't. It's locked. All right, cool. So we're going to go back to the Layers panel, and we're going to lock this because that's our guide layer, and we can turn this on and off as we want. And also too, the keyboard shortcut to hide them is Command, semicolon, and you can quickly get rid of them or bring them back up for reference. All right, our guide layer is set, so we're going to go to the Create New Layer button here. We're going to name this Background. Double click because this is one of our default layers. We'll just make it medium blue. And now we're going to go to the rectangle tool, and this is M on your keyboard. Now we need to make sure that smart guides are set up so that we can see the indication of intersection and get a perfect square. So if you're not seeing the intersect indication at the top left corner of your first artboard, just go to View, and then Smart Guides in here under the View panel. And that's just Command U. That's the quick keyboard shortcut that I'll be using. All right, so we can click away, and once we see that intersect indication, we can just click, drag out, and then when we see intersect on the bottom corner here, we can just let go. All right, so we have a rectangle made, and the color that we're gonna make this rectangle is a gray color, and it's just 20, 20, 20. Super easy. And hit OK. And now we'll just go back to the direct selection tool, and that's V on your keyboard. We're going to click on this square, and then Option drag, and then hold Shift to constrain it so we can add it to our second artboard, and then let go. Do that one more time, Option drag, Shift to constrain it, and then once we see intersect, let it go. Okay, great. So we're going to go ahead and hide our guidelines now, just Command semicolon. We're going to go back to the layers panel, lock that layer, and then we're going to create 3 more layers. And we're just going to name them the shapes that we're going to make them. So the first shape that we'll be making is a pentagon. The second shape we'll make is a decagon. And then the third and final shape that we're going to make is a triangle. And we're going to double click on these layers to color them. And I'm just going to go ahead and color these different colors so that we can distinguish the 3 of them. So I'm going to make this one a light blue. I'm going to make this decagon an orange color. And then I'm going to make the triangle a pink color. All right, looks great. Our document's set up now.